evening, prior to returning back here to the boardroom, the school board held a closed session. May I get a motion to certify that the closed session was conducted in accordance with the Code of Virginia as amended 2.2-3712?
Madam Chair, I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Porter.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mrs. Payne?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
And then we have some recommended action from that session.
Thank you, Madam
Mr.
Chair. First, I'd like to recommend to the school board that student number 860-87291 return to the general education setting on Thursday with the resources discussed.
May I have a motion that we accept the superintendent's recommendation?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Ms. Porter?
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mrs. Payne?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to recommend also to the board that student number 8603747 be expelled for 365 days and can request re-enrollment on September 10th, 2026.
Do I have a motion that we accept that recommendation?
Madam Chair, I'll make that motion.
Thank
I'll
you.
second that.
Thank you, Mr. Price. Mrs. Porter?
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mrs. Payne?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr.
Thank you, and I recommend to the school board that student number 8605241 return to the general education setting on Thursday, 9/11, with resources discussed.
Thank you. May I have a motion we accept the recommendation?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Thank you. Mrs. Porter?
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mrs. Payne?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Thank you, and lastly, recommend to the school board that student number 8605722 also return back to the general education setting on Thursday, 9/11, with the resources discussed.
Thank you. May I have a motion that we accept Mr.
I'll make
Grimm's?
that motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Mrs. Porter?
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mrs. Payne?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Thank you all.
All right. Well, thank you all for waiting on us. I hope you have had a chance to enjoy the new boardroom here. Mr. Graham, I believe. do we
Thank you,
have
Madam
someone
Chair.
to
It's so
help us?
exciting to be here, and there's so many people that we have to thank. And just to start off, we will have a ribbon cutting, and everybody in the community is invited. Would love to have them at our October board meeting, starting at 4 o'clock, and then from 4:30 on to the school board meeting, we will have tours and allow people to come in and take a look at this wonderful facility, and also recognize some folks who helped us get here so quickly. So did want to start with that, and then also want to start with our Pledge of Allegiance and just say Pulaski County Public Schools and Dublin Elementary are proud to have Jacob Slaughter lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Jacob is a 4th grade student at Dublin Elementary School. He is the son of Cody and Brittany Slaughter. Jacob has 2 younger siblings that also attend Dublin Elementary School, Jackson and Carly. Outside of school day, Jacob enjoys reading fantasy books and participating in the Scouts. So if you will please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job. Don't go anywhere yet, okay? Stay right there. Are your parents here? See that yellow pencil? Yeah. Pulaski County Public Schools and Dublin Elementary are pleased to announce Deborah Boxell as the Employee of the Month. Ms. Boxell is a targeted paraeducator at Dublin Elementary School. She has worked at Dublin Elementary School for 3 years. Deborah is the wife of Tom and is the mother of Peyton Robinson and Emmanuel Austin, aka Chubbs. Deborah plays a vital role in supporting her individual student, but her dedication doesn't stop there. She consistently goes above and beyond by stepping in to assist other students whenever needed. Her positive attitude, willingness to help, and caring nature make her a true asset to our school community. Whether she is working one-to-one, lending a hand to a colleague, or offering encouragement to a student, Deborah shows up every day with what it means to put students first. We are grateful for her hard work, teamwork, and unwavering commitment to make a difference. Congratulations. Come on up.
Good job.
Everybody here in the picture.
Smile. 1, 2, cheese. Awesome. Thank you.
Congratulations. Pulaski County Public Schools and Dublin Elementary School are proud to recognize Tori Leahy as Teacher of the Month. Is Tori here? Ms. Leahy is a special education teacher at Dublin Elementary School. This is her second year working for Dublin Elementary in this position. Ms. Leahy is the wife of Neil Leahy and the mother of Kylie and Mia Leahy. Ms. Leahy works hard to form strong relationships with her students. She strives to create a learning environment tailored to their needs and encourages them to have high expectations and reach a little farther. In the short time that Ms. Leahy has worked at Dublin, she has formed strong relationships with her colleagues, her students, and the DES community as a whole. And I'm glad to say we stole her from Rapid City.
I know my girl said that this school board meeting is the only kind they were used to is with you. Thank you.
Who's your favorite principal fellow? One way out.
Pulaski County High School and Pulaski County School Board are pleased to announce McKenna Rain Stewart as the September Senior of the Month. McKenna is the daughter of James and Amanda Stewart of Fairlawn. Despite facing significant physical injuries due to a fall this past year, McKenna has demonstrated exceptional perseverance, leadership, and dedication. Rather than allowing challenges to hold her back, she channeled her energy into servicing others, completing an outstanding number of community service hours for the National Honor Society. McKenna is a remarkable leader within the PCPS band, consistently bringing enthusiasm, knowledge, and a willingness to support her peers. She attributes much of her continued participation and success to the guidance and support of Mr. Fowler, who helped ensure that she could remain involved even while managing physical limitations due to her hand injury. In addition to her leadership and service, McKenna continues to excel academically. She willingly takes on challenging coursework and approaches it with determination, consistently rising to meet and exceed expectations. McKenna's resiliency, positive attitude, and commitment to excellence makes her an outstanding representative of Pulaski County High School. Upon graduation, McKenna plans to attend Lee University with aspirations of becoming an American Sign Language interpreter. And you're welcome back here to work in Pulaski County Schools, too. For the criminal justice system. Oh, I didn't read that part there.
We stopped just shy.
That's a change, though.
We can work on her for that, though, I believe. Although her free time is very limited, she loves being involved in the band, theater, and is currently serving as the 4-H Pulaski Club secretary. Congratulations, McKenna. We'll have to strike that one part about.
That's right.
Thank you all.
Go back to the way.
That is all of our recognitions for the evening. We'll give them a chance to file out. I was observing how in our nice new boardroom with all this seating, just like in church, everybody sits at the back.
That's not true, Gene. Everyone we pay sits up front.
Give up front, right?
Very true.
Okay, we will now hear from Miss Amaya, our representative update.
Good evening, members of the board. I would like to preface by saying I've got a mouthful for you guys today. And I would
Is your
also
speaker
like,
on?
There it is. Green. There you go.
Okay.
sorry. I would like to preface by saying that the school year has started off very calm, at least for me. Attendance is pretty good. I'd say that I see my classmates in almost every day in every class. And I have two prominent issues that have been brought to me today. I was informed by my English teacher, Mrs. Melton, and several Governor School students that there needs to be a change or an upgrade regarding the new walls where CTE building is. This has already been fixed. They wanted me to say this, Miss Bowling. She made sure, but they still want me to talk about this. As you guys probably know, we built new walls which indeed provide students with a newfound sense of safety, but the students have found themselves standing outside and waiting for someone to let them in for quite some time frequently. Currently, it is stated that we need to call the front office to get into the school. However, with our phone policy, many students are left feeling conflicted on if they should use their phones or not. I believe that adding a doorbell, which has already been added, or an intercom, such as the one that we have in the main office doors, would be incredibly beneficial to Governor School students or students who are checking in. We don't necessarily have to add a sensor on the door to allow it to open, even though we do. Yay! I understand we have made many large improvements in the school recently and might be able to fit that in our budget. My next issue that was brought to me is the student parking lot. As you guys also probably know, if you don't, then you're pretty lucky. It's very hard to get out of the parking lot in the evening at the high school. This issue was brought to me by my peers and also Sarah Matney, who you guys might know. She's a driving instructor located in Central Pulaski. She described that as a parent, she believes that the parking lot should be more structured, to which I definitely agreed. With the abundance of new drivers in the student parking lot, as well as parents who are trying to pick their children up, the evenings are commonly chaotic with everyone trying to get out. This is considered to be an issue by many because several parents are either trying to get home after just getting off work, or they are trying to get their children to drop them off so they can't get to work on time. The chaotic parking lots often prohibit this from being carried out. On the student side, the effects are similar. Parents are trying to get home after just getting off work, or they are trying to get their children to drop them off so they can't get to work on time. The chaotic parking lots often prohibit this from being carried out. On the student side, the effects are similar. Many students who cannot access work release due to the need for a vigorous schedule have to wait to leave until 3:20 and go to work, which results in students not having a lot of time to themselves because they cannot get out of the parking lot fast enough. Students also like to get home before later after school activities, which is not often possible because it takes an extremely long amount of time to just get out of the parking lot and out onto Route 11. My proposal for this issue was to possibly have arrows going up and down each lot. So where honors parking is and where the gym staff parking lot is, we would have an arrow going out each side, this way, and this way, if that makes sense. And to also help the flow of traffic and make sure that everyone actually listens and follows the arrows, we could have some of our SRO officers guiding traffic to make sure that everyone just follows the rules. And that's it for the issues that I have currently. And I would also like to report that a lot of students are very excited for homecoming week, which is October 13th, as am I. And I hope that the next school board meeting I can get you guys more information on that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I believe you also had student government elections recently, didn't you?
Oh, yes.
You did, so we know who class presidents and all that are?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I forgot.
Well, and I guess, the student advisory board, has that been pulled together? We
It's
have all
getting
that? Okay.
Yes, it is. Jack Powell, my good friend, he's the president. The vice president is currently Whitney Harless, and then the class president is Ethan Morley. The student representative is Rohan Call, and this is for the senior class. I personally don't know for the other classes.
Right, for the other
Apologies.
ones.
That's okay.
Historian, I think, is Carly Hamblin, and am I missing any other?
Secretary?
Secretary. I don't know about
All right.
that one.
That's okay.
That's okay. It's not a test. I noted that where they'd had the elections.
Victoria Hill is the
Okay,
secretary.
yeah,
Thank
okay.
you, Ms. Foley.
Okay, wonderful. So you have a team now kind of to work with too at the senior level.
Yes,
Very good. Thank you, Maya.
thank you, guys.
All right, our first public comment time for the evening. This is for persons who wish to address the board regarding items that are on tonight's agenda. We ask you to limit your comments to 3 minutes. Anyone here wishing to address the board? All right. Everybody has had the opportunity to read through the minutes from our August 12th regular meeting. If I can get a motion to approve those meeting minutes.
Madam Chair, I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Mrs. Porter?
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mrs. Payne?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
And tonight's agenda for the September 9th meeting, barring any changes to the agenda, can I get a motion to adopt the agenda as written?
I'll make that motion, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Second?
Mrs. Porter?
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mrs. Payne?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
As part of our consent agenda, we've all had the opportunity to look over the warrant list, the personnel list. May I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Price.
Second? You can have Sabrina.
Thank you, Mrs. Cox. Mrs. Porter?
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mrs. Payne?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Wonderful. That brings us to our instructional focus presented by Dr. Grant, Mrs. Poole, Mrs. Sink, and Dr. Webb.
I think it's just me.
It's just you? Okay.
It's already down there. Oh. You don't have to download it. That's how our link.
Okay. I probably don't need that, but, we'll have it here. Oh, good. The whole team's here. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Graham and school board members and community. My name is Melissa Poole. I am blessed to be a part of the PCPS curriculum team as the K-12 instructional coach. Tonight, I would like to take a few moments to share with you information on our newly founded and still developing PCPS New Teacher Academy. You can go to slide 2. Okay. I'm excited to have been asked to take on this project and develop a sustainable program for our newest teachers in Pulaski County. But I do have to say I could not do this without the help and support of the curriculum team. And this is something that I am passionate about, as I would have liked to have had something like this when I started out as a new teacher in Pulaski County 15 years ago. So I'd like to take just, oh,
Oh, sorry. Quick
I don't have that
changes.
memorized. Okay. So the New Teacher Academy mission is to provide high-quality professional development, mentorship, and support that empowers new teachers to grow in their practice and deliver effective instruction. By fostering confidence, collaboration, and strong instructional skills, we seek to guide educators along their professional journey while cultivating a sense of belonging in Pulaski County Public Schools. Our commitment is to help teachers thrive, ensuring both their long-term success and the continued excellence of teaching and learning across our schools. And I would like to add, it should be noted that this academy is not just for current new teachers. We've opened it up to those teachers with less than 5 years of experience or those who are provisionally licensed, since this is a new program and we haven't had it for them. So just wanted to take a few moments to share with you what's taken place so far, what we have planned for the near future, and the vision we have here. Our initial meeting took place on August 7th. All new teachers, along with their mentors, were invited to PCMS for our initial meeting. We had a fun, engaging introductory activity that I actually took from a conference I attended this summer in Nashville called 3-2-1. And I have to say really quick, sorry, there's a bug. You have to talk to someone for 3 minutes, and that person can't say anything. You have to talk about yourself, and then you switch, and then you have to do it again for 2 minutes, but you can't say the same thing you've already said. Then you have to do it again for 1 minute. And it's hard to talk about yourself for that long, but they did a really good job. We then reviewed our teacher handbook for new teachers and expectations, highlighting some of the important information, and gave them time with their mentors to decide when they could have their weekly meetings with each other and set that designated time. We talked about our professional development dates that we have scheduled for the New Teacher Academy, and we know that the beginning of the year is busy for any teacher, much less a new teacher. So we also provided them with a list of first day of school activities and ideas that fostered classroom management, team building, routines and procedures, and community building. And to wrap it up that day, we provided them links and explanations for our curriculum Canvas course and our one-stop shop, which we discussed and shared with you guys last month. Okay, here are a few pictures of our new teachers and their mentors. We tried to snap everybody that came in. We missed a few. And then this is them doing the intro activity I mentioned. And as I said, it's hard to talk about yourself for that long. So as part of the New Teacher Academy, we have scheduled monthly professional development sessions through April. Teachers are able to choose an AM session or a PM session. That way it's whatever's less disruptive to their schedule and their students' day. These are taking place in the second floor conference room here at the school board office. Each session will have a couple of engagement activities. We want to model for our teachers what we expect for them to model for their students, and also give them something they can immediately implement in their classrooms when they return. Sessions will also have a make and take time built in, so teachers can create something based on our session's topic and take it back to their classroom. Each teacher received a copy of The Essential 55 by Ron Clark, which we'll use as a book study this year during these sessions. And lastly, each PD session will have a main topic presented by a guest speaker or someone from the curriculum team. And then our guest speaker, who also happens to be a member of the curriculum team this past month, where are you, was Mr. Ken Arnold, Director of CTE and Innovation. And he presented on lowering the entropy, classroom management, and relationship building, bless you, which I feel like is crucial to any start of a classroom. You've got to build those relationships first before you can teach. And so the next slide, Mr. Arnold shared some great visuals to reference the term entropy. And if you know Mr. Arnold at all, you know there were lots of stories that he shared about his own personal experiences, and he kept the teachers very engaged throughout his presentation. Some of his key topics were accountability, ownership and reflection, that behavior is communication, being intentional with your lessons, being authentic and genuine, to show empathy to your students. We discussed research-based classroom management strategies. Some of those are listed. And the power of a teacher's apology can go a very long way. Here are some pictures from our first session. I don't know why it looks like I was scolding somebody in the top, but I promise I wasn't. But the bottom right, I just wanted to touch on really quick and explain what that was. They were participating in one of our engagement strategies, which I titled Melissa's Classroom Feud game. And while they were doing that, myself and Dr. Grant and Kim, I think, walked around and took selfies on their phones. Because one, they weren't at their seat. They were working vertically with white books on the walls. They were so engaged they had no idea we were doing that. That's what we want our students to feel. We want them to be just as engaged, that they have no idea. Someone, obviously they shouldn't have their phone out, but it was something that Skip Tyler does, who is consulting with the middle school right now on math workshops, and he did it, and I said, yeah, that's a pretty good, empowering idea, so I stole it, borrowed it, sorry. And then there's some more pictures from our PD session. Oh, not yet.
Quick again.
Yep. So we had a really good time. I think it was a great turnout. I think we had, like I said, they get to choose. We had about 10 in the first session and about 20 in the second session. Okay, now you can go. I included this just because it was one of our engagement strategies that we shared with the teachers, and I didn't know if you wanted to take just 2 minutes to participate in this one.
Well, we're all here.
Okay, let's do it. All right, so what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you think about which door you would pick. Don't want you to shout it out. Don't want you to raise your hand. I want you to put your hand right here on your chest and then hold up a 1, 2, or 3.
We don't get any information?
Nope,
about
that's it. That's it. That's all you get.
Gotta be decisive, Gina.
That's all you get. 1, 2, or 3. Okay. So what I'm going to do is go with the majority, and we picked door number 2. So if you will slide through, we're not going to talk about that one. We'll talk about this one. So this is a, read or unread. Are you the one that has your emails all unread and you see all the numbers? Or do you have to immediately read them as soon as you get that notification? So what I want you to do is turn and talk to someone and share out what you would choose.
I'm a psychopath. I have to
You
read
can do it too.
everything.
Yes. I used to just turn around.
Mails, texts, everything. It immediately gets filed.
Okay.
It immediately gets dealt with.
Clap once if you can hear me. Clap twice if you can hear me. Everybody should be able to hear me. I don't think this. Okay. So does anybody like to share what they chose?
I will. I told Mr. Williams that I guess I'm an uncommon psychopath. I have to read everything, even if it's dealing with junk mail. It has to all be gone.
Okay. Okay. So you kind of led me into, okay, so here's what you could do with your students. Do you agree or disagree? If you agree, show me that you agree. What this is doing, I would technically go into another step where you share with someone why you chose that. You kind of already said why you chose that. So, and then I would have the student not tell what they thought. I would have them tell what their neighbor said. And by doing that, I would have them introduce that person. My neighbor Josh, sorry, Mr. Taylor, said that he's one of the ones that likes to, I wasn't going to say psychopath.
Control.
Yeah. And I agree with Mr. Taylor. I have to read them right away. So the basis behind this is you can use this prompt with your students so that they can begin thinking on their own. they can begin to reason on their own. They develop those critical thinking skills, and they haven't been exposed to any content yet. So that when we do start adding in the content, they are already accustomed to this type of procedure and type of engagement activity, and they're not so scared. And then also by doing it this way, where I didn't have you raise your hand or shout out, you're reaching all students. As a teacher, I could easily look and make sure everybody's engaged. And also, those students who are a little shy and don't want to raise their hand or participate are still able to do so, because not everybody can see what they're doing or what they chose. So that was always fun. The third slide we didn't talk about, but it's the most fun to me. Do you fuel up, or do you let that light shine a little bit? So thanks for playing along with that. We will always follow each PD session that we do with an exit ticket. This not only complies with evidence for the grant that is funding the program, but it also helps us as we continue to build the program and prepare for future sessions. This is some of the feedback from the first session that we had. We had a lot of them verbally just tell us thank you. This is great. They need this. This is helpful. So we're very excited to hear that. So you can see that. And some of it was like, what is one takeaway that we talked about? So you'll see, like, I'm going to call 3 parents this week to help build those relationships. That was something that Mr. Arnold talked about in his presentation. And then our next PD session is being finalized. Those who know me well know that's pretty much already finalized. And we'll follow the same format as I mentioned earlier, but this topic will be assessments and data analysis, presented by me. And then we also have the next slide. These are our future dates, so we already have them scheduled every Thursday, like I said, through April. We welcome guest speakers, so if you have a topic you would like to share with our new teachers, reach out to me and I'll get you scheduled. As the goal is to build a sustainable program for years to come, we are also taking the time as we do this to brand our academy. So I'd like to present you all with a PCPS New Teacher Academy sticker, which we created the logo for. So.
Thank you.
And last slide. Any questions?
This is great, guys. I think I think you've identified a fantastic need and addressed that need. I have 2 questions.
Oh,
One
no.
statement, one question. So first, I'm surprised you got so many people's phone unlocked. So Lincoln, you might want to address that. That's not great.
I did work for technology for a while.
And second, this is great, but how are you going to gauge the success of the program?
I think by completing those exit tickets, reading the feedback, talking with the teachers, but also we're following up. We're all signing up to be a mentor as part from the curriculum team with the new teachers. I've already been able to get out and do several observations of the new teachers and meet with them. So I think that constant communication and support is going to help sustain it.
That's great.
Yes, please.
I think over time, once we do this, every year we have to report how many certified teachers we have and how many provisionally licensed. The goal would be to work the academy away, that we would be so sustained that, we just have the staff.
Yeah.
And there's not any new teachers. That would be the ultimate goal.
That's great.
Build that retention.
The mentorship program, or the mentor and the mentee, I guess. Is it like the same teaching subject, the same grade level? Or
Not
is it could be
necessarily. They're set and decided upon by the administrator of the building. And I know a couple of the schools actually assigned a grade level content mentor plus a specialty teacher mentor. There was a thought process that maybe a specialty teacher could cover them while they go and observe a veteran teacher, or just have that extra person as available. But it's not necessarily, but ultimately you would want someone that has that same experience in content.
Thank you.
I'm just curious, and maybe I don't have the calendar in front of me, but if we offer it morning and afternoon, and the assistant teachers, I assume, who are teaching, how do they take off for from 8 to 11:30 to
So
go to
we've worked it out
training.
for them to have subs.
Okay, they
So
have
the grant
staggered.
is paying for them to have the coverage, and so what I do is I send out a form ahead of time asking which one are you coming to. I suspect they'll be the same each time because it's based on their schedule and what works best, but it could vary. So I like to just know that ahead of time, and then I'll work with the principals and whoever is over their bookkeeping or substitute at the schools to make sure that we get the subs or coverage provided
Okay,
each session.
very good.
And that could be something, like I said, we're evaluating this as we go, that we decide it only needs to be a certain amount of time. But we did have a pretty big group, so we thought breaking it up would help.
Sounds great. Any other questions for our crew here? This is
Thank
wonderful.
you.
Thank you all. Whew. Now we can go into the discipline and attendance data report. Mr. Graham.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So our student behaviors have, they're a little increased from last year to this year, but I will say that we have a lot of other safety measures in place right now that are picking up things from like our weapons detection systems and things of that nature. So that could be why you're seeing, particularly in behaviors related to school operations, that would be like vaping and things of that nature. Oh, why's that not up there? I'm up there right now. Oh, sorry. It's on my screen.
I was cheating over there. Well, that's not the me.
What'd I do wrong? Where are you? Here, you do it. It's a nice castle.
It is.
We can all just go there with Mama.
Oh, there we go. Thank you. So you can see there, like the behaviors related to school operations, that's a huge increase for us. But still, you know, with all the new safety measures we have in place, we're only at 27.2% increase from last year at this time, with some of those areas decreasing too. And of course, we had a closed session with some discipline tonight too, and I think the message we're sending is we want to provide an environment and culture that's filled with academics and learning and engagement, just like what we saw in our presentation too. What kind of questions can I answer?
The categories in there.
Yes,
Can
sir.
you briefly go through each one of them and kind of how those are broken out and decided?
Well, I tell you what, because Ms. Compton knows that much better than I do, and she's here, how about we have her come up? And do you mind? She can, I have a pretty good idea, but I don't want to
Yeah,
tell you, she's the one
I know it's
who,
part of our student handbook.
it is, and, but, go ahead, Debbie.
Okay, so the behaviors that impede academic progress would be interfering with the learning in the classroom, scholastic dishonesty, unexcused tardiness to class.
That's harsh.
Yeah.
Scholastic dishonesty.
Behaviors that endanger self, others, total has to do with a threat to staff, a threat to student, a bomb threat, assault and battery, fighting, minor injury, use of force against the staff, drugs possession, behaviors that endanger self or others. Behaviors of a safety concern. Those are possession of fire-related items, reckless behavior with risk of injury, fighting with no injury, throwing objects, potential harm, minor physical altercation, no injury, leaving without permission, drugs, possession of paraphernalia, tobacco use, harassment, and then like bus if they're distraction of the driver. And then the big one, behaviors related to school operations, violation of the acceptable use policy, vandalism, graffiti, damage to property, students not going to class as assigned, students in an unauthorized area of campus, giving false information or misrepresentation. And the category there that we had such an increase on was refusal to comply with staff requests. So, and then possession of inappropriate items. And then, let's see, behaviors or relationship behaviors were bullying, defiance to staff, unwanted inappropriate physical contact, theft, discourteous conversation, verbal confrontation, profane, vulgar language and gestures, and slurs based on student attributes. Did that help?
Very much so.
They could almost break every one of these in one conversation, I believe. Don't you think so? Yeah.
How do you determine, like, because these could be for each, like Mr. Williams said, you can only code them though for one category, right?
Yes.
So how do
That
you,
is up to the
how do,
principals.
that's what I thought.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how they choose to code them.
Thank you, Debbie.
And
Thank
you
Thank
said
so
we're
much.
seeing more under the behaviors related to school operations. I noticed at the high school, I mean, that's where, those grade levels, there is kind of a direct relationship to our new detection system.
I think so.
Okay.
Absolutely. And, we've increased, we bought 3 more over the summer, so, we have more of those. And, of course, we have our SROs, and we are actually looking to, this morning, we spent some time looking at, for the high school, some AI-generated software that we could perhaps put in some of our cameras at the middle and high school, too, that actually alerts our principals on things that we feel is important for them to alert on. So we have that going too, and hopefully, if we decide to move forward with that, could have that in place in the next 3 or 4 weeks.
And it seems, the ninth graders seem to be the highest
Yes.
demographic.
And I
They
think
might have a learning curve there.
I looked at last year's report, and they were high there too. So I think the transition there from middle school to high school, and also last year was from 5th grade to 6th grade too. So I think those
Right.
transitions are kind of difficult too. But still, we've been in school since August 13th, so close to a month now, and we're not seeing a real rise in incidents. So I think what our administrators are doing and what our teachers are doing is really good.
Okay.
And then our attendance, again, and Ms. Compton does these for us, and they're great. That one is really good. We are above what we are supposed to be, the 94% and everywhere but the high school. You could round up, we're 94%, so that is higher than we were last year at this time, which is exciting. But the more exciting piece is the chronic absenteeism rate was dropped from last year to this year, 7.3%. And I know Mary and Sarah we spent today in a MTSS meeting too, to talk about absenteeism and how to try to continue to improve that. But we have a lot of good things going at every one of our schools for initiatives on that too, and appreciate their leadership with that. So questions there? All right, those are those 2 reports. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Grant. Our comprehensive improvement plan introduction, Dr. Grant.
So we kept that as a, good evening. We kept that as an informational item because I'm just really not ready to submit it yet, because I want to get input from our directors. We have a director meeting on Monday. So I want to get information on each department and their goals for the next 5 years. I feel like that's important to put in there as well. So we're not quite ready to have it approved yet. I'm hoping for next month. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gray.
I'm sorry, I did have one, just out of curiosity, because I know at the time this was updated in July 29. Is there any reason why we wouldn't include the 24-25 pass rates?
No, we will.
We will be on that.
We just got them finalized. So
Okay.
we will be. I haven't added anything to that document yet,
Okay,
as far as you've seen.
right. I mean, that's what I'm looking at. So
No.
well, we could probably add that.
No,
and
we're
see.
gonna have all that in there,
Okay.
okay?
Very good.
Thank
Thank you. Oh, we get to hear from Ms. Cheverton.
Miss B.
Okay, Ms. Reed.
Thank you, guys. So, good evening. Thank you for letting us share with you guys some information about attendance. Sarah and I have been working very hard along with our school teams to improve school attendance. And so, September is Attendance Awareness Month. So we asked Mr. Graham if we could just share some information with you guys, answer any questions you have about attendance, and then just also highlight what our schools are doing to help improve, reduce our chronic absenteeism rate and raise our ADM. So, the goal coming from the strategic and comprehensive plan is to reduce chronic absenteeism to less than 8% by the 29-30 school year. This year, well, after last year, we are right around 14% division-wide. Elementary schools definitely are a lot less, probably like 6-7%. Secondary is where we struggle along with the entire nation. Secondary is just hard to reduce those attendance numbers. So you can see there's the trend. We are trending in the right direction. You can see those COVID years. Before COVID, we were down about 17%. So now we shot back up. We are headed back down. So we're at 14% for the 24-25 school year. It is adjusted for the all-in tutoring time. And so the state does allow us, if a student misses school, they can attend after-school tutoring. 3 hours of after-school tutoring equals 1 buyback day. It does not change the student's attendance profile. So when you pull up their daily attendance, it's still going to show. But that at the end of the year, Debbie Compton, I call her DC, sorry. When she turns in the SRC report, we're able to go in and put in the flexible time. And so that does help reduce our rates also. So 3 hours equals 1 day, and that is for K-12 students.
Oh, gosh. Sorry about that.
So when we talk about attendance, there's really 2 types of absences. So we talk about truancy. Truancy is compulsory school attendance laws. So truancy is when the student's missing school, the parent's not supporting it, doesn't allow it, and it's an unexcused absence. So it's only unexcused absences. It's all about compliance, following the law, and we do go to court sometimes with students after we work the tiers, and we'll go over that in a second. If students do not improve the attendance, unfortunately, we do have to go to court. That is never the goal of the school division, and I say that in every attendance meeting we have. Our goal is to educate you. We do not want to be in court. You know, I became an educator to educate, not to be in court. But that does happen sometimes with some of our students. Chronic absences, any type of absence. So when a student's suspended, if the student's out sick, if they have doctor's notes, if they're in the hospital, those absences go towards chronic absenteeism. And that is what it is. It doesn't matter. Any type of absence from school is considered a chronic absence. So we use, Rob mentioned earlier, the MTSS, Multi-Tier Systems of Support, or BTSS, Virginia Tier Systems of Support. That's what we use to address attendance, and that is truancy and chronic absenteeism. So you can see the triangle. Tier 1 is your 80% of students, okay? Tier 2, we have to go up to our interventions. We have to increase our interventions. That's Tier 2. It's 15% of our students typically. And Tier 3 are your most intensive interventions. So you're talking about court or a referral to our truancy teams or fasting is what we call it now. So everything that we do with attendance is tiered.
What percent is 3?
3 is 5%. So truancy, like I mentioned earlier, is when a student fails to report to school and we have not received any information from the parent as to why the student's missing, or if the parent calls and says, hey, little Josh Taylor's refusing to come to school today. Okay, that can be considered truancy. By our attendance policy, parents are allowed 10 parent call-ins. So there's 2 weeks that parents can call in, and that's considered an excused absence. Because we tell parents and families, we know, like you're not going to go to the doctor every time you get sick. You may take a long weekend trip. Like we know that life happens, but you got to call in. Like keep calling in, and anything past that 10th unverified absence is considered an unexcused absence, or a 10th parent call-in is considered an unexcused absence. So this is how we respond to truancy. Remember, this is all driven by compulsory attendance laws. So the law tells us what we have to do with truancy. So the first tier, Anytime a student misses, we're gonna start calling parents. We're using Kinvo, which is our texting communication program. So we text parents, we call parents, we send emails out to parents saying, hey, little Josh, sorry, we'll keep doing that now. Okay? Little
Josh, bad student.
is absent today, and that he's unverified. Are you aware that he's unverified? Sometimes parents will say, absolutely, I'm sorry, I forgot to call. It's just an oversight on my part. Or sometimes it's like, what? Like, they're supposed to be at school. So we try to have those, interactions with parents every time there's an unverified absence. Tier 2, if students continue to miss, the code section says at the 5th unverified absence, we have to reach out and develop an attendance improvement plan. And so that is where we go down, or we sit down with the parents by phone, in person, and say, hey, what's going on with little Josh? Like, are there problems? What do we need to do to help? So it's how can we help? And we start talking about compulsory attendance laws and say, hey, the law requires him to be in school. If absences continue past that, then a referral is made to the FAST team, and so it's the Family Attendance Support Team. We are problem solving. Today we met with the family and we are trying to problem solve. What's the barrier to your child coming to school? How can we remove that? How can we put interventions and supports in place to get them at school? We talk about their future goals. What's your career goals? Like, how do we make sure that you're on track to move on to the next chapter of life? So after that, if students keep missing, then we can look at court action. That is the absolute last resort, and I do not like doing that, but it does happen because it's compulsory attendance law say it has to. Okay.
So the other type of attendance we're talking about is chronic absenteeism, and I refer to this as kind of the silent SOL. It's out there, it counts toward our accreditation, and it's not really talked about a lot. We talk a lot about truancy. A lot of folks get these two kind of confused. So chronic absenteeism is silent SOL. It's when a student misses 10% or more of the school year. Now chronic absenteeism is kind of a hard thing to capture. It's like trying to nail Jell-O to the wall. Today is the 19th day of school. Tomorrow's the 20th. So any student who's missed 2 days would be considered chronically absent. That's going to look very different in October or November. If a student's still only missed 2 days, hey, that's stellar. That's wonderful. So this is going to be kind of an ebb and flow situation with chronic absenteeism, and that's why it's so important for us to monitor that data, in which we do weekly. So chronic absenteeism counts every absence. So it counts the unverified, the unexcused, the parent contact unverified, but it also includes notes, family vacations, suspensions, any time a student is not in our building, in front of our teachers, learning, they are missing out on some really key things. So we also have a tiered approach for chronic absenteeism, and this is mostly done at the school level, tier 1 and tier 2, and we recognize our administrators and our attendance teams in each of the school buildings who are doing these interventions. So first and foremost, mention monitoring that data, but our schools have their own climate, their own cultures, and they are doing a fantastic job right now in celebrating good attendance and setting those goals. And we're gonna look at that here in just a minute. But I know that they are really working hard on building that positive culture to make our schools a place where children want to be. Our students will want to be there. They want to learn. So we're working a lot on relationships, connections, belonging, and making a good, safe place. Certainly tier 2, we do a lot of things. We do for truancy as well. They're gonna mentor, they're gonna have check-in, check-outs. Again, every school is a little bit different. What a tier 2 intervention at the elementary level might look very different than the high school level. And so those are really up to those attendance teams that are at the schools. And again, tier 3 is gonna look very similar to what Mary has already alluded to. These students are gonna be targeted for the makeup time, the buyback time, and whether that is after-school tutoring or night school or whatever that might look like. So we want to get those students to make up that time, to make up those classes, and get back on track.
And one thing I failed to mention to you guys, the FAST team, per code section, you have to have community partners involved. And so it is the school system, court services unit, which is juvenile probation, Department of Social Services, and New Valley Community Services Board. And so we come together as a think tank and say, okay, how can the community support the students? So it's not just a school, it's not just a school issue.
So as Mary alluded to, we have the Kinvo system, and that's one of the multiple approaches that we have to try to build that two-way communication with our parents. We really want to have those relationships with our parents. So, you know, we do post things on social media, we send things out. I mean, there's just so many creative ways that we really try to connect with our parents, from open houses to conferences to, oh, I don't know, special events.
To home visits?
To home visits.
Y'all, home visits are my absolute favorite. I think there's nothing more powerful than a home visit. And so several people in this room have actually gone with me. Jeshel, Troy Barkley, Josh Taylor, on home visits. So that's something that we feel like when we go to parents and we meet them where they are, it's just a comfortable setting for them.
You bond.
Yes, you do.
So talking about special events, you may have remembered that we had one last month. And just to give you some quick stats on the bottom line, we did debrief as a team recently. But here's some fast numbers. We had $1,000 worth of door prizes, a baker's dozen of community partners there on site, not including all the others that supported us. 300 bubble wands, 400 sets of bead necklaces, 300 plus books with the book bus, 3 very large inflatables, 499 hot dogs.
Don't forget the 500.
Somebody should have eaten one more.
Exactly. And we had to cut them off. We had to, infinite snow cones and hundreds of smiles, as you remember. We have some evidence of photos of some of you even. And of course, our keynote speaker, Robert Jackson, who spoke to the high school student body that afternoon and was a main draw for some of those high schoolers in the afternoon, or that evening, to come out to our event. So, we really did want to, you know, include so many more pictures. But since most of you, all of you were there, I believe, you had that firsthand experience.
And we were able to fund that with a grant. So we had a grant that funded that, and also we had donations from some of our community partners, so that was great.
So this month, as Mary opened, September is Attendance Awareness Month. So we are having this blitz. Information is being sent out to our schools on a weekly basis with a focus on these 4 core stakeholders. So week 1 was kind of short with Labor Day, but we certainly wanted to reach out to the community and community partners and applaud them for their efforts in supporting us as a school system. Week 2 is families, week 3 next week is about schools, and then the last week, week 4, once the weather starts changing, is about health and well-being and how sick is too sick to send your student to school. So you're going to see some more information about that coming. And again, I want to send out kudos to our schools that are promoting attendance. They're doing a fantastic job. And it's not just elementary. You can see Pulaski County Middle School is doing a great job with the snow cones and celebrating, you know, good attendance, not just by individuals, but also by class. So we had a lot of promotions. And it's not just these schools that we're highlighting here. All of them are doing a fantastic job. And of course, we want to thank you for your continued support in supporting us.
So what type of questions do you have?
I got one, Mary.
Okay, lay it on.
So
Bill.
under truancy,
Yeah.
when you either go meet with the parents or at any level, what reason do they give that they're missing?
It varies. We hear that, you know, their child is sick and they just forgot to call in. We hear that maybe they're lacking resources that they need. So we've received a lot of donations here, and so sometimes kids just need some clothes. Sometimes kids need food or hygiene supplies, so we're able to provide that. We do hear sometimes that students are anxious about school or having, you know, some issues with anxiety. We sometimes will hear that, you know, there's problems at school, that their child's being picked on, and so we'll work through that and say, have you spoken to the school about it? Let us help that conversation. and that's.
Yeah, and sometimes our parents just don't know how to communicate with our schools. They don't realize that the Kinvo system is a two-way system,
Right.
that, hey, we can text back, we can text to our schools and let them know, or who the contact person is at the school that they need to talk to when they want to contact us.
Explain Kinvo to me, who's someone who
Sure.
don't know.
So Kinvo is part of Pearson, and DC back there, and Lincoln can help with it too. But it's part of Power School, and you can just click on it, and you can send a text to a parent.
To a phone number.
Yeah, it was in it will even
So as
show
long as
it.
the phone number is correct in the system, they
Yeah.
can just text right from Power School.
And it will say like.
But like Lincoln said, as long as the phone number's right, give us
As
your
long
right
as
phone
the
numbers.
data's correct. But it will show you also, like, if you send a text, it will show you if the parents open the text, if they haven't opened the text. We have different letters that are set up to go out at certain trigger points. And so the 5 unverified, the parent automatically gets a letter through a text message. But then also the schools mail them home also and call. So we do multiple attempts to reach the parents.
They get one at the end of every month, just to let them know how their student is
A
doing.
little postcard. It has a frowny face or a smiley face, depending on how the attendance is.
With the tune system, and it also translates into a family's home language. So if we have a family whose language is not English, we can send information that way in their own language.
Right. We started using Canva as more of just attendance features, so like the letters and the text messages, but last year we have rolled it out to where all of our teachers have it, so a teacher can click on their class, and then their class becomes a group, and then they can just send the parents a text message that will say, like, you know, hey, tomorrow is
Remind them.
Spirit Day, wear this or whatever. So it's their communication tool with parents.
Very nice.
You know, the parents we hear, I think at first there was just some kind of getting used to it, because, you know, we are talking about attendance, and attendance isn't always everybody's favorite. But we have heard nothing but great things from, especially from our school staff, because, you know, parents will often call, but they'll often text back.
Yeah.
Some generational differences, and texting seems to be working quite well with our parents now.
Do you happen to know the percentage of, I guess, acceptance rate of text for versus in-person versus home visit versus, you know, whatever method you use?
I don't know that, but I can find out for you. Get back
I'm
to
also
me.
gonna ask you another data question, so sorry, Mayor.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
that, you said that 14, so DC, get the computers fired up. So you said you were at that 14% number last year, but with that 3-hour buyback, do you ever anticipate that program going away? And what's that number without the buyback number?
Right, so we have that. So I emailed the Department of Ed this year and said, hey, is this still going on this year? And they said, absolutely, it is still going on. We have not heard that it's going to end. Sarah is our data queen. She can tell you what it is.
So our adjusted rate, this year was 14.4%, unadjusted would be 17%.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to hear the positives on
Yeah.
attendance, because typically all we hear about are the letters that people get. Do they want me to send my child to school sick?
Right.
I called in, so I guess I'm wondering at what point in the chronic absenteeism part of this, with a parent actually calling, there being a doctor's note, whatever the case may be, that nasty little letter's generated
Well, I
and
think you have
shows
to get
up.
the letter, but as ever follows, like, we understand that you called
Yes.
in and this is a
And
little
so
less
then
serious.
We heard that too, Ms. Cox, that, you know, the parent, I guess, it could be upsetting, so we went back and looked at the wording to make sure we were saying, hey, like, we understand that, you know, things happen.
Okay.
Like, I even told a parent with my health stuff last year, I was chronically absent. Like, we understand, like, we're gonna miss. It's just, this is what.
So you've changed the language.
We,
perhaps.
somewhat, we have.
And
Okay.
I think there's also, we're post-COVID now, and so, you know, the parents and our students who survived COVID, yay. You know, there was that assumption that, hey, if they even have symptoms, we have to keep them home.
Yes.
And so in order to kind of turn the tide and say, no, it's okay now, that's a big thing. You know,
Right,
COVID
go
is a
back
very,
to
very
the
scary
24-hour
thing.
fever, that
Yes.
type standard, right?
So, you know, it's
If-
a monumental task to try to turn over that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Do you anticipate having that student that says that sees 10%, is like, hey, I got 18 absences I can take? And how do you combat that? Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's the conversations you you're missing instruction time. What does that look like for your child? What does it look like when they miss, reading groups so many days, if they're coming in tardy all the time? So we try to go back and, talk about like data and say, okay, research shows if your child's chronically absent, by third grade, their reading level is going to be, lower. And if their chances of on-time graduation rate is lower. So we try to,
And about 2 days a month, I'm telling, more than 2 days a month, and you're gonna be on track to be chronically absent.
So we have community members, and without completely just spilling the beans here, who make rounds through the community for whatever reason, deliveries, whatever the case may be, and they notice little tykes. They're there. They're not supposed to be there. And they engage in conversation. Why aren't you in school? I missed the bus. Where's mom? She's inside. You need to go to school. You need to get up on time. You need to go to school. Community members. And then they call me. I'm like, is there anything y'all can do? Because I'm like seeing these kids every single day missing school. And they say, I missed the bus. But then...
And I will say Troy has been fantastic. If we call him, he will try to send a van or somebody out to go get the student if they miss the bus, because we know that students learn best. Yeah, students learn best if they're in school and life happens. But yes, we get those same phone calls.
Did I understand you correctly when you said even if it's a verified excused absence, it still counts against us for chronic absenteeism?
Absolutely.
Okay. That might,
Suspensions,
any of those.
anything, if you're not in school, it counts towards chronic absence.
So even,
Everything.
what you hear, the parent who's, they've got a medical excuse, they've got a kid who's been really sick, and then they're like, but why did I still get the letter? I think that's where the disconnect is.
That is where the
Well,
It still counts against the school
Gina,
system.
my sister, had this exact question of me.
Okay.
Said, hey, why did my little nephew get a letter? Because he had some health challenges, well documented. It's like, hey, it's the law. We have to send those.
Yeah,
home.
we have to, right?
Yeah. It doesn't mean that you're just call the school. They'll and call Mary.
They are only chronically absent if they go above that 10%.
Okay.
So long as they stay under the 10%, they're good.
They're like right now, if the kids miss 2 days, they're considered chronically absent. So we try to set, some thresholds.
We can get them to use some math skills.
Other questions about attendance?
Oh, thank y'all.
You're doing good work, guys.
Okay.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, guys.
Uh-oh. She's coming back. Hit Control P, Rob, quick.
All right.
Print it.
Whatever. Something P.
We have Mr. Scott Vest, who's going to come do a presentation for us tonight on our athletics programs.
Yeah. Hey, as long as you're driving, that doesn't matter. That's all that matters.
Thank you all for having me tonight. In some recent conversations with some of my board members, Mr. Graham, regarding some other things with athletics. There's been some questions asked, just different questions, and we just thought it might be a good idea to come and share information about athletics. This is really an overview. We could probably talk for hours and hours. Specific questions, anything you have, please interrupt me and we can discuss them. First thing I had listed here was team level accounting. Ms. Jamie Graham, our accountant there at the high school, takes care of all the accounts, and she looks at each sport, the money that's coming in, meaning ticket sales, and then the money that's going out to cover transportation, officials, game workers, etc. So she can tell us at any time all of our sports and where that money's at and what sports are making money. As you can see, very few programs break even. Most of our programs run at a loss, are losing money. On a good year, we'll have 3 or 4 athletic programs that'll make money. Some of the highest cost programs you see there, and really it's just a matter of travel and entry fees for those, especially with indoor track, where we're having to go to Liberty University so often. They have the facility, Roanoke College hosts 1 or 2 meets. We'd like for them to host a few more, so we're not traveling to Liberty all the time, but generally Liberty is where everything's happening. So between the expense of transportation, those are very, very long days, paying the bus drivers as well as the entry fees, which are generally done on an individual basis rather than a team basis. So rather than paying $250 to go to a meet, they'll charge you by each participant in each event. So if I'm going to run in 3 different events, that's $30. You know, and multiply that by every person on the team, that number really starts going up. Facilities and fields, and again, just hitting on some things where that's probably one of those things that people don't think about as far as expenses go, but our fields and the maintenance of our fields is a huge cost. Just simple things like marking our fields for 4 games, cost associated with that. And I just put that down because we had just recently, within the last couple of weeks, bought 25 buckets of paint. And you can see the cost on that. That won't get us through the football season. And then, of course, we turn around and do the same thing in the spring for our boys and girls soccer. Paying the staff to mark the fields. Just recently, within the last 6 months, we had signed on with True Green, kind of get a better handle on what we were spending. I had a lot of complaints about the dandelions on the baseball field. Y'all may have heard about that. So anyway, we went with True Green, and so far that's working out pretty good. Got a good plan to move forward with them. Turfers Quick Dry Lime, those are things that we're going to use to prepare our baseball and softball fields on those days where we've gotten rain, and we're doing our best to try to get a game in. You know, those things also very expensive. Boosters, certainly, you know, that's a very important part of our athletic program, and the boosters organizations that we have are fantastic in what they provide for our kids. And I listed again some of those things, meals. I told Mr. Graham and Ms. Payne, Mr. Williams the other day how there's very few teams that we have that get ready to get on the bus for a trip to Roanoke to play a ball game or something that are not fed beforehand by our boosters, and they're great with that. But in addition to that, they're buying gear like sweatsuits and in some instances shoes, spirit items. They put a lot of money into banquets for the kids, different outings and so forth. So certainly a very important part of our athletic program. Next is officials and facility cost. Just to kind of give you an idea, and that's something that goes up all the time. Just continually goes up, and it's something that they're having a hard time finding officials, number one. So they're having to pay them a little bit better. But you can see the numbers there. So last year, we had a total of about $43,000 just in officials costs. So between officials and transportation, you're looking at about roughly $67,000 before we ever kick off or do anything, before we ever put any money into equipment, maintaining anything. There's a lot of costs just with transporting our kids to play or hosting the game at home there and paying the officials. Equipment needs. Of course, the big one there is football, just with the headgear and the shoulder pads, the pads that are required, what we are required to do yearly to maintain those things. At the end of the football season, when that's over, we'll have a group come in and they take all those headgears and they assess those, make sure that they'll repaint them, they'll replace any damaged parts, etc. In some instances, they'll call them and just say, hey, you can no longer play with this. You may have a crack in it or some spot or something that's just not safe anymore. So those are things that have to be done. Obviously, things to play the game with, baseball, softballs, basketballs, again, very, very costly. And then, of course, uniforms, I would say that traditionally, over time, the boosters have been great about purchasing those. We went through 2 instances during the COVID years where Chris Stafford, I guess there was some money available at that time where he came in and said, hey, we're going to buy uniforms. I had shared with a couple of the board members that we'd bought a home and away for every team that we have, varsity and JV, and it was well over $100,000 just for uniforms. And So those are very expensive. Our boosters are really good to help with that. Coaches, certainly hiring challenges, and I know you guys are aware of that with teaching situation. It's not a whole lot different there. There's a decline in the number of teachers that want to coach, and then we're relying on external hires, which, they're good people, good folks, but they're oftentimes not trained in the same way that a teacher is in dealing with issues, parents or students, and so that can lead to problems. And then, of course, coaches and the things that they face, social media criticism, parent pressure regarding playing time and roles. So, certain pressure on coaches that you don't see coaches staying in it for 20 and 30 years like, people that we grew up knowing. And then the last thing is just a comparison there with other district and region teams. So there's 13 teams in our region, and I've spoken to those athletic directors just to get an idea of how their school system operates. And I kind of broke that up into 3 different levels of funding. Mid-level there, where those programs are given just a set amount of money. I say lower level, but really not. If you look at it in terms of, they might be given a much smaller amount to operate their athletics with, but they're covering things like officials and transportation, which, like I said a second ago, just that alone being close to $70,000. So that really is kind of falls in there with the mid-level teams. And then there was one school out of Roanoke that receives $500,000, but that covers, they have to pay for everything. Transportation, uniforms, a scoreboard if it were to break down. If that were to happen to us right now, there's no way that our school could afford to buy a new scoreboard. It'd be turned to Rob and Jess, somebody to help us with that, obviously. Work orders, Jess and them are great about helping us anytime we need help with our facilities and such, but those would be the type of things that they would have to cover with that money. You guys have any questions?
I do, Scott. I want to thank you very much for putting this together and the time you spent with talking with us, going through some of the issues and stuff. It's greatly appreciated.
I enjoyed it.
We appreciate what all you do.
Yes,
We really
sir.
do.
Thank you.
So when we first started talking, I kind of, from a parent and daughter that played, what was the parent's role in fundraising? All right, when you talked and I said, my assumption was that everything we're fundraising, we were given a bill and this is what you owe. But everything on that was something that she got to keep with her at the end of the season. And if you didn't have the money to write a check, you could do these fundraisers, car washes. We're talking very low level stuff, and it work off your debt.
Right.
Okay, but now you kind of see fundraising being a lot bigger, and the question is still there: what is a parent's role? And they're asking us, why are we being asked to buy what uniforms, equipment, whatever it is? Why are we being asked to do that when our taxes are paying it? That's pretty much how the question is asked.
Yeah, I guess I would say that their taxes are going to our school system in some means, of course.
Right.
But, as far as what they're purchasing, sometimes teams, again, example of basketball every year,
Yeah.
new sweatsuit.
Yeah.
That's not something that the school's ever going to fund. We're never going to fund anything that students are going to keep. We're going to pay for basketballs, anything it takes, headgears, helmets for softball or baseball, things that the kids have to have in order to compete. But anything extra and such, those are not going to be things that the school's going to pay for. And if the teams want those things and the kids want those things, then that's where boosters.
And I can understand doing it
for.
for those who couldn't afford to do it, and everybody saying, well, I'll work,
Sure.
and it goes into that pool.
I just echo what Mr. Williams says, Scott, I really appreciate all the work they've done. There's 3 jobs in this county I wouldn't have, yours, Mr. Schul's, or Mr. Graham's, and you do a great job at it. And I'm glad Mr. Graham put this slide up here, because I think we've been operating on a model that's broken for a while, just using ticket sales to generate income and fund programs where we ask the student athletes to strap PC on their chest and represent us, but we're not really adequately funding their needs. We're asking to basically rob Peter to pay Paul. and the ticket sales are going down, the costs are
Yes.
going up. So I think it would probably behoove us to have some sort of budgetary items come to us in the budget work session so we know an accurate accounting, what it takes to run these programs successfully. So you're not trying to, I hate to use the analogy, have 4 pairs of underwear and try to make 5 days work, right? So,
And by doing that as well, we're not gonna depend on the boosters. You know, I was surprised to find out, I always assumed that there was a line item. I thought you would submit a budget every year of what's going on.
Yeah.
But ticket sales, basically through football,
Yes.
is what drives it.
Yeah.
And as that decreases, pretty soon there's gonna be a gap.
Right.
A gap between ticket sales and then what you've given us once before of what the minimum requirements are for each sport that they get.
Yes.
So that-
I think we need to remember too that the cost, like you said, of participating in sports has increased dramatically since COVID. I mean, it's gone way up. We don't get any money from our ADM from students for athletics, and the VHSL continues to raise prices. I mean, it's hard to keep programs going. You see that. You see programs just they don't exist anymore. And we're lucky, or at least we've been lucky in the last 2 years because we've been able to save some money that we've been able to help. I don't know if that's going to happen, in the future, and that's what we're really concerned about.
Well, I think that's
too.
where we have to know those costs up front, and
Yeah.
in years when we can't, it is a partnership between some of those
Absolutely.
boosters in a fair and equitable and transparent way.
Yeah.
So we can all work together to make all of our clubs and athletics programs as successful as possible.
And I think Scott and his folks, coaches too, they do an outstanding job of working with very little. And we're grateful for that.
But there's only so much you can do with little.
And we're working through a better booster program, a more streamlined where we keep the money.
Yeah.
We've talked about this at length. So we're still working towards that to where it's more transparency, it's streamlined. It's still going to have the effectiveness of the social media presences and be able to send it out to friends and family when they're doing fundraisers. But it's all going to be Pulaski County athletic money.
Right. Yeah, and I think that'll be a good thing. Our boosters have always been great, and I'm sure with any minor adjustments that we want to make, we've been talking about to streamline the process.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, I mean, those folks have always proven that they're there for the kids and are willing to do, great things for them.
I'm curious, you said one of the highest cost programs is outdoor track. If we were in a position to host large outdoor track events, would it generate revenue?
It's maybe not. I think a lot of that, you might be surprised with track, and something that I've learned about track is that people have their weekends. And this school has been hosting a meet on this weekend in the spring for the last 20 years, and that's what everybody knows. That's the weekend they're going here. That's the weekend they're going there. We have been hosting a River Ridge meet during Wednesday afternoon generally, and we've had a fairly good turnout. I think if you do a Saturday and you do an invitational type, I think it would probably take time to grow that. We started with cross country doing the same thing about a little over 10 years ago now, and even with that, there's some years that are really good, and then there's other years that's not quite as good. So I think it just kind of varies a little bit.
But I think you also have to take into account, Ms. Payne, that we have to have specific accommodations for VHSL, and some of those areas don't
Well, I'm
exist. So
thinking-
we would have
my
to
mind's going towards
recruit some of the
that.
costs to expand those areas before we even ever saw
Right.
positive dollars.
Right, and I know you guys have talked about that, and hopefully we can get to that point someday where we're going to have it at the high school, because those things are in place.
Yeah.
To be able to do that. Well, we do appreciate this, and I certainly appreciate you having met prior to this with myself, Mr. Williams, and really to get a very generalized explanation.
Yeah.
I mean, the questions we receive from the public is what compelled me to ask you, why don't you just come and
Sure.
we get this out there. But to gain an understanding in that our high school level athletics program is funded by the ticket sales from football. And if it's below where we kind of budget, then we're borrowing from any carryover
Right.
from the athletic fund.
Yes.
So, but we're kind of finding ourselves in a position where, and not everybody spends their allotted budget, not
Right,
every
yes,
sport.
yes.
And you kind of hope, maybe golf won't spend it all this year,
Right,
we can roll it
right.
over. You maybe track won't use theirs.
Yes.
But that's where we are, and so therefore the reliance on parent participation, booster participation, fundraising. And, you know, I do think there is a misconception from the public in that these sports activities are awash with school board administration money that's been handed to them,
Right.
and that's just not the
Yeah,
case.
it's not accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, just not. Now, I'd also included for you guys there, the athletic and facility improvements. And the reason this started 7 years ago was at that time there was a small group of folks that had approached me and they weren't happy with the shape that the track was in and some other things as well. And again, understandably, Jess and I have had this conversation many times. We could probably spend $20 million down there real quick to, you know, to do some things. But one of the things that I thought immediately was people were saying, hey, we need this, we need that. I also think that we're very blessed with what we have. We've got great facilities in a lot of respects. I mean, our stadium and our baseball, softball fields, I mean, they're wonderful. You know, there's some things that we could improve for sure. But you know, I think we're blessed to have what we have and where we have it right there on the school campus. And you know, take some of these other schools that have to go there to play a home baseball game and here to play a football game and so forth. And so we're blessed with a lot. And that's when I started keeping this was, you know, I wanted to talk about some of the things that we do, that we have done. And some very large and some much smaller to beautify our campus, to keep our facilities looking good and in top shape. And so, you know, I just want to include that as well.
I mean, I've had a lot of people ask us when they come here to a game, you know, this is going back in our time, it's like a college campus.
Yes.
You know, you can see all the different things going on. You know, at nighttime, we could light everything up as the visiting people come in, the tennis courts and the baseball, all the fields and stuff. And we're very lucky.
Yeah, very lucky.
Very lucky because
same with our locker rooms. We've gone through. I mean, and our boosters have been a huge part of that. If you go into some of our locker rooms and see them, and you've been in volleyball and our girls basketball, boys basketball, and we've done some improvements for our track team down there, and you know, they're again, our kids got it pretty good.
They do compared to a lot. Yes,
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
I've lost my place here under all this information.
We are at Bridge to Excellence program.
Thank you. Reached out, Mr. Arnold is back up.
I'm back again.
All right.
Madam Chair, other board members, Mr. Graham. Before I start, I do want to say in another life, I was an athletic director, and that's an impossible job. And Scott Best is the best I've ever seen. And he's a better man than he is an athletic director. So.
Yes, he is.
So what brings us here to talk about Bridge to Excellence? I looked at Mr. Graham about a month ago and said, you know, we should probably talk to the board about this. You know, since it's been going since February. He said, yeah, probably. I supplied you all with a brief synopsis of the program and the weekly itinerary. Bridge to Excellence came about out of a meeting that Mr. Graham and Dr. Adam Joyce from Radford had. I'd been on the job for about 14 minutes. He came into the room and said, hey, we're going to do this in 2 years. And then the next day he said, we're doing it next year. And I said, okay. I believe this is an unbelievably exciting opportunity for some of our kids. We have a group of students who, through no fault of their own, just simply don't know what is out there after high school. And this is not something that we created on our own, that this model exists regionally. This program, probably best, is fostered in Wythe and Bland County. Our goal is to be better. So we will link students, seniors, and I'll get into the bigger scope of the program, but for this semester, we'll link 20 seniors, 11 from Pulaski County and 9 from Radford, with New River Community College and 8 to 9 industry partners for immersive tours. These tours will last 3 to 4 hours each, where the folks from the industries will bring them in. They'll show them exactly what goes on in each of their facilities, what kind of skills they need, and then they're going to sit them down and talk to them about what a good employee is. They're going to talk to them about salaries, how much you can make doing this job. I think this program in 3 to 5 years has got a chance to change a lot of lives for the better. One of the things I think I told Mr. Williams during our CT advisory committees, I want to increase awareness for our students about what all exists after high school. And this is certainly one of the things that we're going to utilize to do that. Just really quick how it came about. We put a steering committee together back in the spring. Ms. Bowling and her folks at high school were unbelievable to drum up interest among the students. The students had to apply for this program. These aren't traditional field trips. Once they applied, we interviewed them. I doubt any of them had ever been through anything like that before. There was about 8 people in the room who interviewed them. They were all phenomenal. We accepted all the kids who applied. And then we started quickly meeting with industry and New River to put together the program that you all have in front of you. New River has been unbelievable. I think it's very important that we continue to grow and foster that relationship, because the programs that exist there mirror a lot of the programs that we have in the CTE department at the high school. I was surprised at the amount of buy-in from industry. They are so excited about this, and I think all but Hollingsworth and those in Floyd are going to come this Friday. So this Friday's the kickoff event. You all have been invited, 9:30 at the college. We certainly would love for you to come if you can. If you can't, we understand that. I've called this the pilot season of this program. Hopefully it would get picked up for a couple more years. One of the exciting things that we were able to do is we applied for and were granted an innovation grant to help cover the cost of this program. So we will work with some corporate partners to provide kids with certain things that they will need, steel-toe boots, PPE, things like that, hard hats. When they go on these tours, the students will be able to keep all of that. We met with, Radford City, my counterpart, Kirsten Mosby, and I met with 11 West. They're going to design some gear for them. That's neither side's colors. We're going to go neutral.
Hey, Ken, New River Blue, won't you?
Good call.
We think so, actually, that came up. And so we're going to look at a cost point that we can continue year after year, that in case we never get a grant again, because those innovation grants are few and far between.
We won't need a Bridge to Excellence Boosters Club, right?
No, I hope not. Hope not. Going forward, in the spring, we will do the same thing that we're doing with seniors, but with sophomores. And those sophomores will be going out to healthcare facilities and companies and businesses with the hopes that if someone's an interest is sparked, they will then have time to change their schedules, their 11th and 12th grade year, to accommodate what they might want to do. Dr. Grant swears that we're going to have an education wing of this very soon. So we will see. That was the 7-minute version. I had a 45-minute version, but Richie Thomas said he punched me in my arm.
And everybody else
Rich is
in here
getting the
will
vapors.
too?
So with that, are there any questions?
At what grade level does this
This
start?
is seniors.
Seniors, okay.
So the way it was sort of pitched to the seniors, do you have a plan? If you don't, you might want to be interested in this. And I will tell you this, the students who were selected, they've changed.
Mm-hmm.
They have a different attitude about them. You can tell they have a little more confidence. So we're very excited about this, and I think it's a chance to do a lot of really good things for some of our students.
Absolutely, I think it does too. And you mentioned here the NC3 Snap-on certification training. What exactly is NC3
So
Snap-on?
we had Mr. Crookshanks at the community college, who's on faculty there. We had him look at all of the industry partners, and we said, can you please find a credential, a certification that you could teach these students they could take out when they finish this, and they've got that in their pocket.
Right,
And he chose this one.
okay.
And I didn't mention this, it's in the notes, the students will also take part and receive credit once they finish for the SDV 101 course, which is the intro course to New River.
And they could certainly have a direct career in manufacturing pathway, but also go in and perhaps take more courses at NRCC.
Absolutely.
Could be too, though, that we grow so much that we start, filling a lot of open positions in the manufacturing plants, and then they start paying for us to have this program.
Right.
They're looking for good employees.
Yes, they are.
If you can provide the choice, we're giving them we're doing the recruiting for them.
That's exactly right.
By vetting them, the ones we're sending, because we're not
That's
gonna
right.
send a knucklehead there.
Yeah. Very true.
And I will say this, I don't want anybody to think, in the application process, we didn't look at necessarily what your grade point average was.
Right.
We looked at discipline, attendance, and what kind of person, what kind of worker you might end up being. And all the industry folks were very appreciative of that.
I think that's
Yeah.
I think it's great.
I really like the, having an eye towards the future with being able to address the sophomores when they,
Same.
to help them find their appropriate or best path.
Will this remain at the senior level, or could it expand where we start them at junior level and get more certification behind them?
I certainly think there's an opportunity for that. I think it's really beneficial for the seniors who are, for lack of a better term, they're lost about
Right,
the
don't know what they
future.
want to do.
You know, they don't have an uncle at Volvo, they don't have somebody here that,
Mhm.
they just need to be steered.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this could expand in a lot of ways. Like I said, if we get picked up for season 2 or 3, we'll see how it goes. But the kids are excited, the industry partners are very excited. New River has been unbelievable, accommodating anything we've asked for.
Mm-hmm.
And then the cherry on top is the grant to pay for it, so we don't have to cut
And-
CTE funds at all.
And you said we didn't have to turn away anybody who's interested. We want to make sure that remains the case as we move forward, that they all can participate, if you deem them as qualifying.
As far as being like a pipeline to some of these, our local, for years, Pulaski County was known for its painters, Mr. Caudell's program. And it was just a pipeline for going, and I run into him at the benefit game for the Franklin County and was talking to him and told him, I said, do you realize what an impact you've had over the years? Because as a teacher and stuff, he didn't, pay no attention. He said, what do you mean? I said, well, I named some of his former students, and I said, well, here's what they're doing now. This guy's an engineer, for Hendrickson, and this guy's down here, and he's doing this in Greensboro. You know what I mean? I said, the impact that you did, for teaching these guys this skill has just blossomed. And I would love to see this program do the same thing. One of our students come back in 15 years and say, I'm the plant manager for Toshiba or something like that.
There's stories from the With Bland cohort where the kids got offered jobs on the spot.
I can see that easily happening.
And once this is concluded, you all be invited to the final ceremony where
Yeah,
there'll be a little graduation type event at the college. So
yes. Great job.
Well, are we letting the public know too? 9:30 Friday is the official launch of this?
I probably not, because we don't have the room that
Right.
we've notified media, and we're gonna ask William if he'd come too, but he wasn't here, so if you'll ask him for us, that would be great.
I'll ask Mike Williams right there if he wants to come. He'll decide who covers it.
Okay, there we go, I didn't even see.
I would say the lunch at NRCC could be, you'd have a problem, people coming. You know what I mean?
Laura's in charge of that, so it's probably
Yeah.
be really good.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
This is great.
Thank
Thank you,
Thanks,
Ken.
Ken.
Appreciate that. All right, moving on to calendar items. Mr. Graham, what do we have?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just what I'd said when we first started was the Tuesday, October 14th celebrations that we have, and then the regular school board meeting to follow.
Okay. Yes, we invite everybody to come October 14th. There will be cake here,
Yes, ma'am.
maybe more, but definitely cake. Okay, the 25-26 fall field trip request. Everybody's had a chance to look over that. Anybody have any questions?
Some good ones in there.
Mhm.
Yep.
Anybody needs any school board member chaperones, please let us know for something.
Okay.
Careful what you ask for.
If there are no questions on this, can I get a motion that we approve the 25-26 fall field trip request?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Porter.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mrs. Payne?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
All right, any future agenda items that board members would like to hear about or individuals they'd like to hear from?
Not a future agenda item, Madam Chair, but I'd like to thank Director Jess Schul and his staff and the facility, all the facilities and maintenance and custodial crew, and Mr. Whitaker and his staff for putting together this fantastic building in such a short time frame. It's one of the quickest school construction projects I've ever seen, and you guys have done a great job. So thank you.
You haven't, I know everybody's happy. And one thing I immediately noticed, the acoustics in this room are so much better. I mean, it's like stays here, it's not echoing everywhere.
And plenty of seating for more people to come.
That's right. All right, this is the second point in tonight's meeting where we are willing to recognize citizens who have any comments or concerns they want to bring before the school board. Are there any? All right then, if there are no individuals wanting to address the board, I declare the meeting adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.